Hi, my name is Madison Jones. I'm 22 years old. I was born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm third generation Hungarian, and this is my video essay for ReConnect Hungary. My grandma on my dad's side was born in Budapest, Hungary in 1922. Her name was Edith Steiner Jones. She grew up in Budapest with 3 sisters and 1 brother, and unfortunately her family was affected by the Holocaust there. My grandma met my grandpa during the war. His name was L.D. Jones, and he was in the U.S. Army. They escaped to Austria together, and that's how my grandma escaped the Holocaust. Her brother actually changed his name to a less Jewish-sounding name to try and survive. We're not really sure what happened, but we know that we still have some cousins living in Budapest somewhere, and their kids as well. My grandma and grandpa first escaped to Austria, and that's where my Aunt Shirley was born. Around the 1940s, early 1940s, they made it to America. They first ended up in Oklahoma, which is where they got married. My Aunt Marcine was born in Oklahoma. Then they ended up in Alaska before it was actually a state, and that's where my Uncle Gary was born. And then finally, in 1963, they ended up in Missouri, where my dad was born. Around 1966, my grandparents got divorced. So my grandma took my dad down to a city called Ringgold, Georgia, which is right near the border of Georgia and Tennessee. And that's where my dad grew up. He eventually went to study at Georgia Tech and get a degree from there. And around that time is when my grandma actually passed away. She passed away in 1988. So I never got to meet her. My grandpa also passed away just 2 years after I was born, so I don't remember meeting him at all. That's about as much as we know now. We know that my dad has a few cousins living in Budapest and also some family in Las Vegas, Nevada, who my parents have gotten to meet, but unfortunately I haven't gotten to meet them still. I don't know many Hungarians here. Actually, one of my best friends growing up named Ashton is part Hungarian. And we would give a little shout out to Hungary. During soccer practice, there was a game we played called World Cup, where if you scored a goal, you had to yell the country that your team was, and if you didn't, the goal didn't count. So Ash and I would always pair up just so that we could be Hungary together. I also made a friend at Georgia Tech named Nate who was Hungarian. He actually went and lived in Budapest last summer, worked in a hostel, took some language classes. Sometimes when I tell people I'm 25% Hungarian, they claim that they can see it. I'm not really sure. My dad showed pictures of my sister and I to his family in Las Vegas, and they also shouted out that we look Hungarian. I would love to compare for myself. My dad used to cook a lot of Hungarian as I was growing up. His favorites were goulash and kringla. My Aunt Marcine would always make kringla around Christmas time, and he loved it. I've also gotten the chance to try the fried dough, the langos, with sour cream and cheese and stuff. Love that. And I've also found a Hungarian crepe place in Atlanta, just in this little neighborhood. Super good. I try and go there so often. I've taken my grandparents on my mom's side there, and I try to take some of my friends there when we can. This past year was the first time I got to go to the Atlanta Hungarian Festival. I couldn't go the year before for some reason, but finally in 2018 I got to go. It was super cool. Everyone there was speaking Hungarian, which is really cool to hear, and also just I'd never really heard it before, so it was cool to listen to it. You could tell a lot of the people there knew each other, which was interesting. I didn't know that there was such a big community here. But we got to try a bunch of other foods I hadn't had before. My dad was freaking out over the good food, and we saw a lot of traditional Hungarian things there and bought a few things as well. I got a Hungarian soccer jersey that I can wear to practice now too. My dad is also doing a Hungarian cooking challenge right now. So every month they send him a recipe that he has to do, and he has to make the dish and send a photo. And at the end, I think he wins some traditional Hungarian apron or something. But I'm really excited to try all those new dishes and diversify some of the dishes that I've tried. If I'm lucky enough to get to do this program, I would want to come back and promote all of the good, all of the real things about Hungary as I can. But I think in order to know how to do that, I need to go on this program and learn it for myself. So when I came back, I would try and share with my friends and family everything that I've learned from this type of experience, where I'm going to see this culture that is my own with others that are in the same boat as me, that want to learn more about where we came from. My dad has always wanted us to see Hungary in general, but especially Hungarian Christmas. Unfortunately, during the holidays especially, we can't miss out on time with my mom's side of the family because we have some family illness in my other grandparents, and we don't want to take away time from them. That and other obstacles have kept my family from visiting there. It's really hard to get there from Atlanta, even just more expensive by hundreds of dollars from the Northeast, so we just haven't made it. I actually lived in Sweden for 6 months in 2017. I was doing an exchange there through my university, and I had the chance to visit Hungary, but it just felt wrong going without my dad and going without the rest of my family. So I said, I've been lucky enough to have this chance once. I'm just going to wait out and hope that I can have it again. Since then, my family still hasn't been able to visit, and things have changed now. I'm about to graduate college from Georgia Tech and start a new job, so the time for me to visit is kind of ticking. And I heard about this program, and I thought, this is my second chance. I can't give this chance up. Even though I won't be able to visit Hungary with my family in the way that I always imagined doing, I think that this program is the next best way. It wouldn't just be me going by myself or on some trip and just visiting around. I think that this program is a special way to get to know my roots and learn about Hungary on a different level than a regular tourist would get. So that's the end of my video essay for my application to ReConnect Hungary, and I hope you'll consider me.